In this session, we were discussing how many resources do you really need? How many books, how many tapes, how many recordings to manifest your new life? So I think you'll find this discussion interesting. The key point, though, is, are you using it? Because if you're just storing it, and even if you're listening to it but you're not using it, then, do you really need it, right? Like one of my points, I think I might have mentioned this to you before, but if you're going to learn something like golf or whatever, find a coach and then stick with that person and milk them for all their good ideas, right? And use all their stuff, because if you take a little bit from this person and a little bit from that person and a little bit from this book and a little bit from that book, then what often happens is you don't do any of it. And of course the key, the secret, if there is a secret, is to use it, right? And oftentimes the using of it is like practicing. It's like going to the driving range. You go to the driving range, you hit 500 balls every day. You do that for a couple of years, you're going to get much better, right? But if you don't, if you don't, then you're not going to improve very much. So so that's the key. So it's not exactly having volume. It's having it's having a system and then using the system. Which, by the way, I was going to mention this book that I'm going to recommend to you guys here. I'll share my screen. This book here, I've talked about this. I think I talked about it last week, or maybe the week before. Mind Magic.
Yep, you mentioned it.
It's a very good book. I think I think you would enjoy it, and I'll recommend that you buy it if you want to buy it. I have the audiobook, right? And so I've been listening to the audiobook, and the audiobook is great. So this guy is a doctor. He's a brain surgeon, I think. I think he's a neurosurgeon. But he's also a neuroscientist. Like, he's got a degree in neuroscience too, right? And his journey and his system is very, very, very similar to mine. In some ways, almost identical, right? Now, he doesn't talk about your mind as a time machine, but he does at one point mention mental time travel, because that's sort of in the vernacular now, right? But he doesn't talk much about that. So that's still my unique thing, right? But all the other stuff he gets into, and our ideas and our processes are so similar that I think it would be good for you guys, if you wanted to get the book, and then just because it has a little different angle, on manifestation, right? Which is his thing. It's his subtitle is called The Neuroscience of Manifestation, right? But it's virtually the same idea, the idea that your thoughts are the key thing to manifesting your desires, manifesting your goals and your wishes, right? And so he, and the key to it, and this is why I mention it, following from my last comment about doing the work, right? Is that it's all about using your inner senses, It's about meditating, visualizing, and doing that as a lifestyle, doing it as a lifetime practice, right? And so he has this 6-week program that I was listening to this morning. It's an hour and a half long to cover the whole 6 weeks on this audiobook, right? And it's great. It's like a big long meditation, but it's broken down into 6 weeks. So you could theoretically divide it up into 6 pieces, which would be, I guess, what's that, 15 minutes long? Each 15 minutes long. And then listen to them kind of as a meditation. But it really reminds me that it's the practice that's important. You know, I mean, the Dalai Lama, apparently he meditates 5 hours a day, right? Well, you think, gee, you meditate 5 hours a day, wouldn't you get everything out of it that there is to get out of it by now? You know, but of course, it's, you know, that's not the answer, right? Or, you know, that's not the right question, I guess. And so what this guy talks about in his book is your feelings, your emotions, using your memories, you know, in the past, using your mind to, you know, manifest your dreams and your goals, and making these minor adjustments that we talked about. So I mean, it's like playing golf or basketball or, you know, anything else. You can do it for years and years and years, and you never master it. You know, you never quite figure it all out, because you can't figure it all out, right? You know, it's like trying to figure out the universe. I mean, it's just too big. So the idea of having some kind of a system and then using that system every day, more or less, or certainly on a regular basis, you know, that's what I've learned is the key, is the secret, right? And most people miss it because they're looking for information, and the answer is not information. The answer is practice, taking action, right? I have another book that I'm reading right now too. It's here. I'll get it here for a second. Yeah, I just got this one, and this one I think is very good too, but I've only just started reading it. It's called Beyond Willpower, right, by Alexander Lloyd. But what he talks about in there, and again, it's the same thing as I've been saying for, you know, 2.5 years on these calls. He says that every self-help book on the market teaches a system for being successful, right? And the system is: choose your goal, form a plan, and work your plan until you reach your goal. That's the system. And he says 97% of them fail. It's a little bit like diet plans, I guess, right? I mean, the two most popular things on the market probably are how to lose weight, maybe how to be happy, and how to be successful. I mean, maybe those 3 things, right? And so he says in here, in this book, Beyond Willpower, he says that at least this is what he's coming to, and I think this is his whole point, which is my point too, which is, well, if the secret is to choose a goal, form a plan to get there, and then follow the plan until you achieve your goal, how come 97% fail? Well, I'll ask you guys, what's the problem? Why doesn't the system work? Or why does it work for so few people? Let me put it that way.
User error.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So what's the error, or what's the problem?
Not following the plan, giving up too easily, trying to tweak the plan instead of just following what's worked for other people, thinking that they know better than somebody else and thinking that your way will be better, lots of things.
Okay, so what is it specifically?
Not following the plan.
So why don't they follow the plan?
Because they switch to a new one. Either
It's
no
hard.
plan,
They don't
either
like
no
it.
plan, or they get discouraged, I think.
Okay, well,
distracted.
you're getting close now. You're getting warm, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me.
Well, what does it mean to be discouraged?
Well, I think you're taken off the path. You know, you lack courage. You don't think it's going to work. You lose belief in, you know, it working.
You're getting warm now. You're getting warmer. Oh.
All right. You know, I would think that you know, you'd have doubt. I guess you'd have doubt, or you don't believe it's going to work.
Okay,
You know,
so basically we're talking about emotions, feelings, right?
Yeah.
Beliefs, attitudes, all of the internal stuff. That's
Right.
the problem, right? So any one of those things can kill your efforts, can kill your results, right? If you lose confidence, if you quit, if you get discouraged, if you have negative self-talk that says, you know, this is not the kind of thing that's going to work for me, you know. So like it's all those things. So basically it's your attitude, your beliefs, you know. So MAGIC, right? I mean, having the goal is one.
Yeah.
You know, having the goal, that's like step one. And
Right.
then so the other ones that I identified are like motivation and attitude and imagination. So the imagination is like, how are you using your imagination? What are you thinking of, and how are you thinking of it? You know, and then motivation is like, how strong is your belief? How strong is your desire? If your belief goes down, your desire goes down. If it's not clear, then
I think for your consciousness as well. I mean, if you're not aware that you're drifting away from the original vision you had.
well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So the answer to it, as far as I can tell, is you do it every day. And if you don't achieve your goal in 1 year, then maybe 2 years, and then maybe 3 years, or maybe 4 years, and maybe 5 years. And to me, the perfect example that I've used before is Phil Mickelson, right? His goal was to win the U.S. Open, which he never did, even though he keeps trying. But, as people say, the purpose of the goal is the person that you become in the pursuit of the goal, right? So obviously Phil Mickelson has become this, you know, extremely successful entrepreneur, sports person, you know, philanthropist, family man, you know, I mean, he's a super successful person in the pursuit of that goal. He's never achieved the goal, but he's achieved a lot of similar goals and, you know, all kinds of goals in the process of following that, you know, aiming at that goal, trying to reach the goal, right? So that's the answer to me. It's like, okay, choose a goal, formulate your plan, take action, don't quit. Follow the process, right? Like Michael Caine, it took him 12 years before he got his first significant movie role, right? And he said several of the people that he was hanging out with in England when he was trying to break into the acting business, they committed suicide. They just got so frustrated and so depressed, you know. And I'm sure a lot of other people quit. And he could have quit many times. And if you get his book, which I recommend, his audio book, you know, the one I have, it's called The Elephant to Hollywood. He just kept on keeping on. And largely he kept on because, well, I guess there's two reasons. I mean, the key to understanding motivation is you're either moving towards something or you're moving against something, or away from something, I should say, right? So you're moving toward what you want, or you're moving away from what you don't want. That's in a nutshell. So what you want is essentially a feeling. Anthony Robbins said this, 35 years ago, 40 years ago. What you're really after is a feeling, and the feeling, you can call it happiness or success or freedom or whatever it might be, right? And what you're avoiding is a feeling too. Depression, sadness, low self-esteem, the feeling that you're a failure, something like that. So, but in the process of trying to be happy and trying to avoid being unhappy or depressed or whatever, a failure, you just have to keep trying. And, they say, for example, Babe Ruth, he was the home run king for many years, right? But he was also the strikeout king. He struck out more than any other baseball player, right? Because he was trying to hit home runs all the time. So that's the thing. You have a plan. You start your plan. Well, you've seen my little map, right? That have a goal, make your plan, start acting on your plan. Am I getting closer? Yes. Okay, keep going. Yes, keep going. Yes, keep going. Am I getting closer? No. Oops, change your plan. So that little process, that's the thing that people don't follow. Because obviously not everybody's going to win the US Open, or not everybody's going to become a movie star. And of course, for Michael Caine, his goal was not to become rich and famous and be a movie star. His goal was to make a living as an actor, because he enjoyed acting. It was interesting, and he thought he could make a living at it. That was his goal, right? And he sort of became rich and famous and a movie star, in some sense, by a fluke. You look back now, you say, well, of course it wasn't a fluke. He was very good at what he did, and when the opportunity came, he was able to maximize it, right? But then, of course, you never know. Like the movie he was in that first burst him onto the scene, Zulu, it could have been a flop. A lot of movies are flops. He had a lot of flops in his life. A lot of movies he made didn't go anywhere. So the trick is, you choose a goal, you form a plan, you follow your plan, and then part of your plan has to be to modify it. And then you don't stop. You just keep going, And the thing that I realized some years ago, if I never reach my goal, then that's okay, because I'm doing what I want. I'm living the life I want, right? Even if I never get to the end of the rainbow, sort of thing. And that's the key to happiness too. It's like, happiness is sort of a byproduct of trying to figure out how to achieve your goals. So a simple plan, right? Choose a goal, make a plan, one step after the other. But people don't do it because they think, wow, gee, maybe I read the wrong book. Maybe I got the wrong plan here. Maybe I should read another book, take another seminar, right? So that kind of brings us back to the point I made a few minutes ago that, are you using it? Because if you're just storing it, and even if you're listening to it but you're not using it, then, do you really need it? We would love to have you join us in this online community for $1 a day. You get your own PDF copy of the book upon which this entire training series is based, along with 2 powerful meditation visualization recordings. You also get a free copy of this Design Your Life workbook and a 4-hour video course that tells you how to use it to change your life step by step. You get lifetime access to all of this on day 1, and you can cancel your registration at any time. Just go to mindtimeandpower.com and click the link to join the online community.